Okay, Lydia, what is this?
Hey everybody, this is our weekly show and tell. It's our Hangout on Air where you, the viewer, are at home, all snoozy and comfy because it's cold outside, and you're going to show off your project or your makerspace or your 3D printed stuff or your robot or electronics or LEDs or memorabilia from Radio Shack, whatever you got. That's cool. We'd like to see it. It's me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada. We're here at the Adafruit factory in Soho, but we're going to teleport ourselves into the land of Tony D, where Tony D's going to show off what he's working on.
All right, Tony, what you got going on?
Hey, yeah. So a whole bunch of MicroPython videos and guides. So keep your eyes out on the blog. I think tomorrow morning, a whole bunch of posts are going to go up. But basically, in the last couple of weeks, I've done a whole bunch of different driver guides that show how to use things like the servo driver, the motor wing, the LED backpack displays. And then this guy, this is the CharliePlex wing. You get it to focus there. So this is the ESP8266 feather wing running MicroPython. And then this is the CharliePlex feather wing on top of it. So that's the LED matrix. And the CharliePlex basically lets you have a whole bunch of LEDs with not a lot of digital lines necessary to control them. But there's a little driver chip on here that makes it super easy to use. So neat little effect. And it's just doing some cool animations like this. And then I'll just hype another one too that I really liked. On Friday last week, I did the round rover chassis. So this is a little robot chassis in the shop. And this again was an ESP8266 with the motor driver on there. And it was controlled through the web REPL on the ESP8266 and MicroPython. So that means I connected to a web page and sent it commands like move forward, turn, move backwards, that type of stuff, like Logo, basically. So that was kind of cool. I like that one a lot. It was a good demonstration of what you can do with MicroPython and some of the hardware. So that's kind of what we've been hacking on, getting lots of the MicroPython drivers and things working. And then Scott's also been working on the SAMD21 firmware. And so probably see a lot more of that in the near future too. So like all of our guides and things, all the hardware that we're using works also on that new experimental port. So we'll see some fun stuff and probably some fun projects in the near future with the SAMD21 MicroPython.
Very cool. For the control of the robot, so folks who are following along, so is it running a local web page and then...
Yeah, and the way the web REPL works with the ESP8266, it will run a little WebSocket listener, and then anything can connect with a WebSocket to it and send it like REPL, like raw Python commands basically to run. And then there's a web page you can access. So you either save that web page on your computer and just open it locally, like double click it, or you can access like on MicroPython's website that web page. And once you're on the web page, you press a connect button, and that will connect to the board's WebSocket interface. So the board doesn't actually serve an HTML page because the flash is kind of limited. The ESP chips have a lot, but web pages are big these days. You throw jQuery and stuff on there, and you've got a lot of data. So the web page is separate, but you control it by talking through a web protocol to the board, basically. But maybe in the future, who knows? I'm sure like as the more powerful chips like the ESP32, if they have more space, I would bet we'll see things like web pages hosted entirely on the chips themselves.
Gotcha. So folks would just type like 192.168. whatever and find it.
Yeah, like you have to connect to the ESP's, it'll act as an access point, and then it has a fixed IP address of like 192.1.7.4 or something like that. So, you hit that and then exactly you're connected.
All right, well, thank you so much, Tony.
Cool.
Okay, since we're on a roll with some MicroPython-y stuff, and speaking of Scott, you don't have to show MicroPython stuff, but you have to show something. What do you got going on?
I know. I was actually like just watching the YouTube stream, and there wasn't a ton of people. I was like, you know what? I have something I can show off.
All right.
Since we like to show things before they're out.
Yeah.
Don't ask, it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Preview. So we're working on the Metro Express, and we were looking at doing a NeoPixel status, so you can tell exactly what's going on. So if I tilt my laptop, here's my fancy-dancy version. Here's the Metro Express. And then this is like a piece of NeoPixel like strip that I had that I like soldered headers onto and put it on a board. So the light is green now, and I have the REPL open. If I just Control-C and then now I'm in the REPL now. It's now white.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool. And then if I like open the file, it reset, so it's blue. Oh, why does it default to Xcode? That doesn't make any sense.
That's like half my life. Like, why does it default to Xcode?
I know. So if I have a file open, should be able to control.
Oh
Save
yeah,
it.
it's red.
Yeah, so it turns red when it's writing to it, and then you'll see it turn blue, which is the boot script, and then green, which is main, when it's done writing. So there it's in boot. Now it's in main. And then if in the serial, I control C to get out of main, now I'm in the REPL and it's white.
Okay, cool.
That's cool. I'll recycle the same joke. You made the smallest touch bar for microcontrollers ever. So.
Yep. But it's a great way to show status, and we should just get more and more colors as we add more stuff.
Yeah, and you know, universally, like yellow and green and red usually mean something, so we can have that mean something too on these. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Scott.
No problem.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Next up, then Pedro.
Hey, what's up, guys? You
Yo.
guys. So this week, sitting on my project, let me get off. We got a big old chair here. So just 3D printed furniture.
Unicorn chair.
Unicorn chair, of course, it has to be all nice and rainbow-like, but it has a little Beely featherboard on the bottom here.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And a big battery.
And a big old battery inside there. So it's all printed on the biggest printer that we have. It's a 12 by 12 bed, and then we have the frame support, and the structure, or the legs for this is just a 7/8 dowel that you can put on there. And then for the feet, we have some little Ninja Flex feet, so you don't slide around, or if you're outside in the grass, it won't dig into the ground. And it's a nice little project to bring outside now that it's finally getting cooler out here, which in Florida is like, what, 75 degrees outside?
Freezing.
Freezing for us, yeah. But that's this week's project, and you guys can like chop it up. Of course, we give away all the files, so if you have a smaller printer, you can print it in pieces, stick it all together, and have a nice little guide if you wanted to take a look at that.
It's
And-
cool. DIY furniture.
Yeah. How long did it take to print?
So this took almost a whole day, and that's after I figured out all of the settings, because you have to do like Z-hop on it, because we're trying to print as fast as we can. So what Z-hop is as it's printing the next layer, it'll raise up the head so it doesn't like bump into any of the infill, so it won't like mess up, because that was a lot of the problems that we were having trying to print this guy out. And then the way that I did the infill too is I was changing the angle at the way that it's doing the infill, so the structure is a lot more sturdy, because usually they're just like right on top of each other. But if you change the angle from like 30 to 40 to 60 to 90 and then 120 degrees for each one, it'll do sort of like I want to say like a spider sort of web sort of deal to it, just to make sure that all those structures are nice and sturdy, so you can I've only tested up to like 200 pounds, but you should be able to hold a lot more weight than that.
Okay. Well, one day is faster than going to IKEA, finding parking, shopping, eating those meatballs, and buying a bunch of stuff you don't need, getting back to the car and getting back. So it is still faster.
And you get the design that you want. You can totally customize it. So pretty cool project.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much, Pedro. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice, nice. Next up, Lottie. Lottie, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while.
Welcome back.
I don't know how my microphone is because I'm on my ThinkPad.
Nice, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So it's been a while since my GameCube in August. So I followed it up with a cool new thing that I've been doing. So so if you've ever played Super Nintendo, there's a Stunt Racer FX. I go to this shop in California where they sell retro games. It's like nobody's really heard about it, but I get some good deals there. I know the people there, and I was like, I really want to make just a tiny bit of money and get a little bit of experience. So I was thinking of making some Star Fox 2 reproductions, which, if you don't know, was an unreleased prototype.
Yeah.
The developers that were working on it, they dumped the ROM online. So people translated it to English. And the cool thing is you can actually use Stunt Race FX boards or Doom or Star Fox or whatever. You can use the special 3D chip and dump the ROM onto it. And you can play Star Fox 2 on a real Super Nintendo.
Cool.
And there's a ROM chip right there. And so this is actually one of them, but the real cool part is this. So this is the thing that I designed on my own.
Oh,
And
rad.
This is all the wiring. I believe about 30 or something pins I had to do. I designed this, printed it out on my 3D printer, and then glued it to the top of it with a little zip socket. So I just plug it into my Super Nintendo, like so. You just pop the chip in, you lock it down, and then you just turn it on, and we don't have to fully solder it in. And then they're like, oh, look, didn't program it correctly, or didn't bit swap or whatever. So it's made, it's going to make it super easy for me to just pop in chips and then solder them onto the board, because I've had to do that in the past, and reprogramming a chip is like a pain in the butt. And I've got a deal with the shop, and they're gonna let me do a small run, get like 5 cartridges, which is really exciting. So I'm gonna get it out there and host an event and everything. It's gonna be really good.
This is awesome.
Outstanding. Well,
I love video game hacking. This is great.
We both got ours started with like hacking Sony PlayStations and mod chips and all that. So this is the next level. Well, email support@adafruit.com and we'll send out an as seen on the show and tell sticker.
You can go on that cool 3D printed ROM burner.
All right, next up, Virtual Machine. Unmute your mic and show us your project.
Hello, am I unmuted?
Yep. How's it going, Virgil?
Are you hearing me?
We can hear you, but your video is a little not there now.
Okay. Am I hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just your video isn't coming through that great.
That's not good. Well,
go ahead and try.
This is my 3rd annual Halloween visit to Show and Tell, which is the 2nd anniversary of my first visit to Show and Tell.
Yep.
With my there we go. Yeah, it's really slow, isn't it? I called it. It's not working. I had a problem with this version. 2 years ago, I had an Uno as card shield, and that was a problem because it took up half the cauldron with electronics. So I tried to get to here, couldn't get the trinket to work. This year I picked it up again and said, oh, wrong place. So I fixed that. To go to, if you can see what's going on in there. Well, I moved to a Pro Micro, a micro SD card, Adafruit Class D mono amp. That all worked fine this afternoon. And something happened between this afternoon and now, and it's not working. But the idea is you reach in and pull out a piece of candy. Software randomly selects one of 9 sounds on the SD card and plays it through the speaker. So that works. It worked this afternoon. But anyway, the one thing that I wanted to mention is that I started playing with interrupts. But I wanted to save the battery on this thing, so I wanted to put it to sleep. But the only external event was the trigger on the HCSR04 ultrasonic sensor. Thing's ranging all the time. It sleeps, but it sleeps for a very short period of time. Figure out how to get it so I can get it to sleep for longer. So that's my project for next year.
Cool.
So next year, on my 4th Halloween visit, I'll hopefully have some better luck with my interrupts, and maybe actually have something that works better.
It's all good. All right, Virgil. It still worked enough to get it as seen on the show and tell sticker. So email support@adafruit.com.
It already has 2, so maybe that's it.
Collect them all.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, next up, Tarek, how's it going? Unmute your mic and finish your project.
Hello, can you guys see me all okay? Cool. Yeah. Hi.
I'll mute our mic.
How's that? Better? Cool. So I've been working on an e-paper shield for the Teensy.
Very cool.
And right now I'm crowdfunding a campaign for it in order to get the word out about it and just to see if I can spark some more ideas about things that people can do with this shield. So I've had one guy say that he's going to make a tiny ebook reader. That's the screen I'm on, right? Yep. Tiny ebook reader from it. I'm personally making a smart weather display for it. I have a link up to that project up on Hackaday. This is my subliminal messaging. And I don't know how you guys are on crowdfunding. Is it alright if I share the link with your viewers? Alright, awesome.
Come on the show and tell you can. That's our rule.
Awesome.
So can you hold up again? It's on crowd supply. Okay, great.
Yep. So one of the reasons I made the shield was because I actually picked up this thing from your guys' store. Probably recognize that. And just this large board didn't really fit into any of the designs I wanted to work with. So I reached out to the manufacturer of this particular display, and they were all right with getting back to me, but they didn't really help me with trying to roll my own design. So I just kept spamming, emailing literally every e-ink manufacturer on the planet. And finally, I promised one that I would make a crowdfunding campaign, and I said, I'm gonna buy a lot of e-paper, but please share with me your code and your plans and all that. So finally I managed to get them to share with me the designs. I managed to get in contact with an engineer on their side too, so they really helped me out with sourcing American parts for the shield. So I'm really hoping that this can get a lot of traction just to show these e-paper manufacturers that there is a big market in the maker community for this. A lot of people are asking for it. So hopefully this project will take off. A lot of manufacturers will be like, oh hey, a lot of people are really interested in it, and we'll get the ball rolling onto bigger screens. There are some interesting 3-color screens I really want to play with. Right now they're all locked behind NDAs, so I can't really publish open source stuff, but I can tell you from my personal use that it's really, really exciting, cool stuff that I really want to publish.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, you end up with Dalian Good as the manufacturer?
I'm working with to make the shields.
No, the e-ink.
Oh, the e-ink. They're called pervasive displays.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they're a licensor.
Yep. But I think they also work with a few other manufacturers. I think it's kind of like a conglomerate thing going on with their designs and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, there was a little bit of an echo, so I turned that off. So email support@adafruit.com for your sticker, so you get a as seen on show and tell sticker. And then in the email, put for Phil and a link to the crowd supply link, and we'll make sure we get it out there in the world for you. Yeah, you did a bunch of hard work to get this out there for makers and code and getting them considering it. So we'll help out the crowd. Crowd supply is our favorite crowdfunding site too. So
Also,
I don't know if we're allowed to say favorites, but we do like crowd supply. Bunny did his laptop on it, and it's one of the ones where you can buy the hardware after too from there. So we like that quite a bit. Okay, all right right on time. That was show and tell this week. Thank you, Virgil. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Noam Pedro. Thank you, Lottie. And thank you, Jarek. We'll be here next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
And we're going to do Ask an Engineer now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. See you in a few minutes.
See you all next week. Bye-bye.